No one remembered when the house on Hollowmere Lane was built. It wasn't on any town records, yet it had stood at the end of that crooked road for as long as anyone could recall, hidden behind an overgrown iron gate and choked by gnarled trees. The house seemed to breathe with a presence of its own. Children dared each other to throw stones at its windows. Teenagers took grainy photos through its cracked fence, but no one ever crossed the threshold until Erin did. She wasn't from Hollowmere. She moved there after a bad breakup and a worse job loss. She needed peace, somewhere cheap and quiet. Her real estate agent, a pale man who never made eye contact, offered her the house at a ridiculous price. "Don't ask questions," he said, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Just accept the gift." Erin moved in on a grey October morning. Leaves the colour of blood and rust clung to the branches above her car as she unloaded boxes. The house groaned as she stepped inside, as if annoyed to be disturbed. It was fully furnished, but the furniture was wrong. Everything was too old, too pristine, like it had never been used but never aged. Lace curtains fluttered in wind that didn't exist. The mirrors were covered in sheets. The air smelled of lavender and something deeper, something wet and earthy. She stayed despite the cold that never left the walls, despite the whispers at night, despite waking to find doors open that she swore she'd closed. On the third night, she heard footsteps above her, heavy, slow, deliberate, but the second floor was empty. She checked every room. Nothing. When she returned to her bedroom, her suitcase had been unpacked, each item neatly folded and placed into drawers she hadn't opened. By the end of the week, the house began to change. The wallpaper peeled itself back to reveal writing underneath, not painted words, but carved deep into the plaster. Names, hundreds of them, some scratched so hard the wall bled rust-colored streaks. She stopped sleeping. In the attic, behind a locked door she hadn't noticed before, she found journals, dozens. Each one belonged to a different person. Each journal told a similar story. People who had moved into the house, people who had seen the same shadows, heard the same laughter echoing from empty rooms, people who had tried to leave. None had succeeded. Erin packed her things the next morning, heart pounding in her chest. As she drove down Hollowmere Lane, she noticed something strange in her rearview mirror. The house was gone. Nothing stood where it once had, just trees and dead leaves. Relief washed over her until she turned onto the main road. The trees didn't end. Hollowmere Lane just kept going. The road bent and twisted in impossible ways. Her gas tank, full when she left, dropped to empty within minutes. The sky darkened, though it was only noon. She slammed the brakes when she saw someone standing in the middle of the road. A woman, pale, barefoot, in a white nightgown soaked from the henna. Her eyes were entirely black. Erin threw the car in reverse. It didn't move. She tried the door. Locked. The radio turned on by itself. Static at first, then a voice. "You're home now," the engine roared. The car lurched forward on its own, rolling toward the figure. Erin screamed as the world around her vanished into darkness. She woke up in bed, in the house. The mirrors were uncovered. Each reflected a different version of her. Some were weeping, some were laughing. One was scratching at the glass, mouthing words she couldn't hear. The house had taken her, just like it had taken the others. It didn't want to kill, it wanted to keep. Somewhere beneath the floorboards, something whispered her name. She answered